And we welcome you back into Dodger Poke Report for the next edition of Dodgers Down the Farm for the High A Great Lakes Loons. You know, the Loons won the Midwest League for the first half of the season, so they've already qualified for the playoffs, but that did not stop them from playing great baseball. They had won their last 3 series in a row till this last week when they went to Lansing, and they went 2-4, so they lost the series this week to Lansing. It was the first series they had lost in their last 4. It was still exciting baseball. There was still a lot of great baseball that was played by the Loons that we're going to get to in this podcast with video and narrative. So we're going to get to that here in a minute. Before we do, I want to tell you a little bit about some of the team leaders. Jorbit Vivas leads the team in batting average at .272. I want to get these right, so if you see me look down, I'm actually looking at my notes to make sure I get everything right. Jorbit Vivas leads the team in batting average at .272. He also leads the team in RBIs at 39. Emilio Vargas leads the team in home runs. Okay, so this is unique. Emilio Vargas leads the team in home runs with 11. He also leads the team in walks, okay, with 54. And then he also leads the team in on-base percentage at .423. That .423 on-base percentage also is the best in the entire Midwest League. He leads the entire Midwest League in on-base percentage at .423. So Emilio Vargas, boy, I tell you what, going back to about halfway through last year, he has just been absolutely fantastic offensively, and he's having a great year. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the highlights from last week from the Great Lakes Loons. Ryan Sublette knows how to wreck 'em Tech. The Texas Tech Red Raider is just absolutely on fire. You can see that kind of side slot. I don't like to call it a side arm because he still stays on top of the baseball, but a side slot, he has been just absolutely on point. Sunday, this is action from Sunday, was his 5th scoreless outing in a row, and during that span, he has 11 strikeouts, no walks. So 11 strikeouts, no walks in his last 5 performances. He's been scoreless in 16 of his 25 outings in the year, and he's allowed more than 1 run just 2 times all year. This young man out of Texas Tech, he was coached by Matt Gardner at Texas Tech. He was a wonderful pitcher at Oklahoma State. I got to see Matt Gardner pitch almost every inning that he pitched in college at OSU. He is just a tremendous pitching coach. Look at that attitude by Ryan Sublette. And I shouldn't say attitude, it's more just confidence. Look at that slider. I love that. I call it the Sublette slider. There's another great slider because it is legit. Last week I showed you a kind of a tree, I guess, if you will, that showed Cole Duensing compared to Goose Gossage and how similar they were with their mechanics. Duensing had another good outing on Sunday for the Loons, going scoreless in his 1 inning that he pitched. And what I want you to see in this video, look at the late life on this baseball. That late life, meaning it just moves subtly right at the end of the pitch that you can see. It makes it to where it moves the baseball away from the barrel. It makes it hard to hit it directly on the barrel, which leads to a lot of weak contact, which should lead to a lot of quick outs for Cole Duensing. So I think this young man has dynamite stuff. I think he has a dynamite future. I think, look at that late life that makes it hard to burn. Just instead of hitting a line drive, you're always hitting pop-ups off of him. So I love this young man out of the Kansas City area. This is left-hander Ben Harris out of Georgia, who just recently got moved up from Low A Rancho Cucamonga. This is his outing from Sunday. He's allowed just 2 earned runs in his last 6 outings since being promoted from Great Lakes on June 25th. So Ben Harris has done a very good job for Great Lakes since he has been there since June 25th. Jeff Belge seemed to pitch his best when it matters the most. This is a situation the other night where the Lansing Lugnuts were just 1 pitch away from bringing the tying run to the plate. This was actually Saturday night, and as you see in this video, that pitch right there, Jeff Belge slammed the door and ended the baseball game. He has not allowed an earned run in 8 of his last 11 outings, and that is since he has rejoined the club on June 9th. Albert DeYoung, the lightning bolt that I like to call him. I got to see him in Oklahoma City last year when he came up for just a little bit, and he is like lightning in a bottle. His first home run back his first hit back with Great Lakes, he was injured for a while, was a walk-off grand slam. It does not get any more dramatic than that. The home run you're seeing here was his 5th home run of the season that he hit Saturday night. He actually had 2 hits in that game. He had 2 RBIs. He scored 3 runs and had 6 total bases. So Aldrich DeYoung is getting back in the groove and playing very well for Great Lakes. Kekai Rios is a catcher out of Hawaii that had a really good night on Saturday for the Loons with 2 hits. He has been smoking hot as of late. He's hitting .375 with an OPS of 1.069. That's 1069 OPS in July. So Kekai Rios, the young catcher from Hawaii, has been playing very well. This is Jorbit Vivas, who we mentioned is leading the club in batting average. This is a 2-hit game that you're seeing on your screen, and he also had a walk in this game on Saturday. This is from the Saturday game. At that time, on Saturday, he had hits in 12 of his last 14 games. He was 18 for 57 during that stretch, which is .315. So Jorbit Vivas not only has been hot, he's been consistent, and that's why he leads the team in batting average. This is Alex Dejesus, I should say, that had 3 hits and 3 RBIs for Great Lakes on Saturday in their 7-3 win. Dejesus now, at that time at least, had multi-hit games in 3 out of his last 8. Again, that's multi-hit games in 3. That's Max Hewitt from Oklahoma State, one of my favorite all-time Oklahoma State players. I have more respect for him, or at least as much respect for him, Max Hewitt, number 22, that you just saw a minute ago score, as I do. There he is at second base, too, of any Oklahoma State Cowboy that I have ever remembered watch playing. So Dejesus, there's Max again. Let's get back to Dejesus. He now has 3 multi-hit games in his last 8 that he's played in July. Nick Nastrini, wow, he was totally dominant in his outing on Saturday. He went 6 innings. He gave up no runs. He struck out 7, and he walked just 1. His fastball was 95-96. The slider was tight, as you're going to be able to see in this video, and make sure and check out the back-to-back changeups. If you go to my Twitter feed, Instagram feed, or if you just go to the article on this, in this video, if you fast forward to 30 seconds, watch the back-to-back changeups. It was a tremendous sequence. Look how that ball just kind of slightly tails right there at the end, makes it very, very difficult to hit. Look at that ball, how that ball just kind of sunk a little bit towards the end. That ball moved in on the hands of the righty, which is why it's just so difficult to barrel up. There's that good tight slider. So this young man out of UCLA had a very, very, very good performance Saturday evening. About all you can say about Emmet Sheehan, who you're seeing on your screen with his performances lately, is wow. He went 4 innings. Then his last performance, he struck out 6. He walked nobody. He gave up no runs. This is from Friday evening, and he has not allowed an earned run in 6 outings in a row. And keep in mind, he's either a starter or a piggyback starter, so that is very, very impressive. But it's not as impressive as this next statistic I'm getting ready to give you. I talked about not giving up an earned run in 6 outings in a row. Well, try this on for size. During that time, he has 30 strikeouts, and only 6 walks. That's a 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Other than 3 games this year between May 24th and June 4th, he has not given up a run all year. This young right-hander out of the Boston College is just absolutely dynamic. He has his confidence. Look at that changeup, the confidence that he's pitching with. That is just awesome to see, and he is on a roll. Carlos Duran is possibly the coolest pitcher to watch that I have ever seen, with his unique windup, the way that he pauses with his timing, the way that he can mess hitters up with that slider that you just saw is just absolutely fantastic. Friday, look at that pause right there. That is awesome. Friday, he went 3 scoreless innings. He struck out 6, including getting out of a bases loaded jam with only 1 out. And he's yet to give up an earned run since returning off of the IL a little while ago. And that's actually 5 games. I said a little while ago. Let's get specific. 5 games. He's pitched in 5 games since the IL. Look at that slider. He's pitched in 5 games since he came off the IL. That was the pitch that got him out of that bases loaded jam. And he is very unique. He has big stuff, and he is very fun to watch. We've seen a rebirth of Tony Gonsolin this year, and people have asked, what's the difference? Well, there is no difference to me, because anytime you have a split finger fastball in your back pocket, you always have a weapon that most other people do not, that you can rely on. And Kendall Williams has that split finger as well. It is very good. He had another great outing on Wednesday, his last outing, and gave up just 1 run on 2 hits in 4 innings. And that's on the heels of a very, very, very good June, where he had an ERA of .316, a batting average against of just .238, and he had a strikeout to walk ratio of 2.4 to 1. and with 25 strikeouts. Actually, that's 2.5 to 1, I should say, because he had 25 strikeouts to just 6 walks. So the big 6'6" young man out of the state of Mississippi, and he actually went to high school in Florida at the IMG Academy, but he is a very good pitcher with a good slider, the good split finger, and the good fastball. Emilio Vargas that you're seeing here has quietly turned in one of the best years of any offensive player in the entire organization. The home run you're seeing here is his 11th of the year that he hit last Wednesday. He leads the team in home runs at Great Lakes now that Johnny DeLuca has been moved up to Tulsa with 11. He also leads, as I said earlier, Great Lakes in walks with 54. He leads the Great Lakes Loons on on-base percentage at 423 and OPS at 907. And his on-base percentage, like I said earlier, leads the entire Midwest League, and he is 3rd in the league in OPS. So this is a young man that's hit home runs. He's hit for pretty good average, and he has gotten on base a lot, and Emilio Vargas is having a really good year. You're getting a good look at left-hander out of Oral Roberts, Adam Scoggins, and obviously being from Oklahoma, I am very, very, very familiar with Oral Roberts, a university that is right smack dab in the middle of Tulsa, so he's not having to go very far. I'm sure he has, he's from Springdale, Arkansas, and that's about 2 hours from Tulsa, so I'm sure he has a lot of family that gets to come and watch him pitch, and he's very familiar with the Tulsa area because he pitched at Oral Roberts for Ryan Fulmer there on the Tulsa-based campus. He actually pitched with a young man that I coached in high school, in Evan Kowalski. So Adam Scoggins, I was so glad to get a video up on him and get to show everybody just how good he is from the left side. And, I communicated with him a little bit, and he's coming back off of injury, and his, what he said was, hey, I'm starting to feel like it's coming out of my hand and feeling like it always has in the past. So I'm very glad for that for Adam Scoggins, and I'm looking for big things for him here in the near future. I'm glad that you tuned in to the next edition of Dodgers Down on the Farm, and I hope that you visit Dodger Poke Report on the internet, or you go to Dodger Poke on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. This is also going to be a podcast, so go to the podcast streaming service of your choice and search Dodgers Down on the Farm and never miss a thing from Dodger Poke Report. As always, thanks for tuning in, and go Dodgers!